Welcome to episode 20 of Karlene's Anime Corner, a St. Johns County Public Library podcast. I am very excited today. Well, I'm always excited when I'm doing these because I love talking about anime, I love introducing it to people, and it's just a fun project. But it's a super exciting day for me because I actually have a new guest who has never been on this podcast before, so you'll get to meet another coworker of mine here at the library. And we have just wrapped up Halloween, but I have to admit I couldn't quite get out of the Halloween spirit of the creepy and spooky. So on Karlene's Crunchyroll Q segment today, I'm actually talking about a horror anime, but maybe not the one you're thinking about, because I found out that Digimon has come out with a new series. I looked it up. It's actually their 9th series. I didn't realize it had been going on for so long, because I am actually a fan of the Digimon that aired back in the 90s on Fox Kids. So I have watched the first season of Digimon in the Americanized English for, I think, at least 2 or 3 times all the way through. And I just love the story of TK and the Digidestined and how it wraps up with them actually coming to Japan, which I was just blown away. They actually introduced their parents to their Digimon, which that's a huge spoiler if you haven't seen it, but it's a show from the 90s, so I think we're okay on the spoiler territory there. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. It's a very long watch and a little hard to find at this time, and I've never actually found it in Japanese, which I'd be really curious to do because I'm curious what it sounds like in Japanese versus the English. But the Digimon series I watched, as I said, was the 9th series, and it's called Digimon Ghost Game. And is talking about these ghost Digimon that are showing up and wreaking havoc, and is set like 2 steps into the future. So there's a lot of hologram technology, and they're talking about these Digimon as if they're glitchy holograms, and these urban legends, you know, if you're walking down the road at this certain time of night, you'll be kidnapped and disappear and nobody will ever see you again, and stuff like that. So it's kind of set up to be this urban legend, ghost story type thing. And I'm going to say straight out that there are some aspects of it that if you really think about are kind of horrific. But if you want to sit down and watch this with a 7-year-old sibling, they'll probably be okay because the Digimon still keep their cartoony characters. So no matter how horrific the things they're doing are, it kind of tones down the horror of it when you see a guy who has a giant clock for his body. And with that, let me get into the first episode where we meet our first evil Digimon, who is Clockmon. Yeah, very creative naming there. It gets worse as things go on. But Clockmon is actually hitting people with a special mallet which causes him to steal all their time. So you see this young middle school student, they get hit on the head, and you like flash forward through their lives. And it's a girl, so it shows like her wedding day, she's in her wedding dress and all this stuff and so on and so forth. And then when he's done stealing her time, you just see this really old lady sprawled out on the floor. And it's kind of a creepy idea that you can like lose all of your time in 2 seconds, but Clockmon is kind of ridiculous looking, so it instantly kind of loses a little bit of its creepiness. I would definitely say that this anime is definitely aimed at a younger age group than what I am, of course, but I did still kind of enjoy watching it because I am a fan of Digimon and I like seeing the Digimon that show up. And there's some very different ones in here. I mean, as I said, the naming conventions are a little on the money with some of them. So we have Mummymon, who's, oh, guess what? A giant mummy. And then we have Drakumon, who has kind of like bat-like wings, and I think they're setting him up to be like the big villain of the series because he has these evil eyes that he uses to set horrible pranks on people. Like he takes a soccer player and makes their leg hurt so much that they're wheelchair bound. As I said, it's definitely meant for younger ages. I did enjoy it though because I enjoy seeing new Digimon, and it was kind of just a fun, lazy watch to do during the Halloween season. And I will probably keep watching some more episodes of it. And I wish my nephew was a bit older because it would be a perfect series to watch with him. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one so far a 3 out of 5. The human characters aren't really all that interesting so far, but who knows, that might change in the future. And so let us dive right into our review today. And I am really looking forward to talking with my new guest, Miss Lauren, about today's anime. I am so excited today because I have a new coworker with me to talk about our anime, which is a comedy, a little bit different for me. I'm not much of a comedy person, but this was highly recommended by one of the teens in my anime club. She said it was the only comedy she actually found funny. So here's a shout out to Zoe and for her great recommendation. I greatly appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about the first 13 episodes of The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. This anime is available to watch on Netflix currently. This anime is about Kazuo Psyche, who is determined to conceal his powerful psychic abilities so he can live a normal high school life. But his strange classmates are a trial, and we are definitely going to be talking about those strange classmates. All right, Miss Lauren, I've ignored you enough. So you have never been on my podcast before, and you're actually fairly newly back to the library system. So what do you do for the library here?
Hi. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I started at the library 10 years ago, and then I left you all.
Yes, and we all grieve deeply.
But I'm back. And I am the marketing and virtual services coordinator. So I manage the library's website, I manage the databases, promote them, and I promote the library. I run the social media accounts. So if you follow any of our social media accounts, that's me.
Yay!
It's me posting.
Yeah. All those really funny memes come from Lauren.
Yeah, I'm a meme lord, so.
Yes. And I'm not sure actually what. Do you watch a lot of anime, or is this fairly new to you?
So my history with anime is I was really into anime in middle school and high school, which was eons ago.
I'm going to say Sailor Moon Dragon Ball route.
Yeah.
Okay,
so Sailor Moon.
Yeah, that's a lot of people who are like, yeah, I was really into it. And I was like, Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball.
Sailor Moon, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
So any of your teens listening would probably be like, wow, she's old.
Hey. I still think anime made in the 2000s is new. So
yeah, so I got out of watching anime, and it's not that I'm not interested in it. Watching this was a real pleasure. So,
giving away your opinion there a little bit early. So this is not you're not new to anime, but you're maybe not up onto the newest anime series.
Yeah, so I'm like not new to anime, but I'm renew. I'm like renew to the library. I'm renew to anime.
Well, you sit across from me in the library, so you're going to hear a lot about anime over the years.
So yeah, I will be reintroduced from an expert.
Well, maybe not an expert, but somebody who watches way too much of it. You gave your hand a little bit here, but I normally ask my guests to give a spoiler-free opinion of the anime.
Okay.
And a 5-star review. So 1 to 5. 1 is like, I hated it. 5 stars is it was amazing, and I will rewatch it multiple times. And you're allowed to do half stars.
So I would do probably 4. I don't know if I'll rewatch it. But I don't know, it's easy. It's easy to watch.
Yeah,
it's palatable. So
well, considering you and I both binged it over like 2 days.
Yeah. When I say I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning.
A little behind the scenes there. We set this interview up months ago and then forgot to watch the anime, both of us.
A little insight into what we were like in college, maybe procrastination.
Just a little bit. I will say I did enjoy binge watching this anime because it is easy to watch and it just keeps dragging you on, which is really nice.
Yeah. And it's nice that each episode, for the most part, is a standalone. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
And they're like little vignettes. In like each episode, it typically doesn't follow one traditional story.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things I like to sometimes can really work or really doesn't work with an anime. This is based, I think, it's based on a manga, and I think the manga was set up as like one of those 4-panel gag jokes types manga, so it's the whole chapters aren't like whole stories. I think some of them ran longer from what I was reading online, but that was the basis of this, and you can tell in the way they split up the segments on the animes, like each one has its own little punchline, and then we move on to the next part.
Yeah.
So they are tied together to a certain extent, but you still have that nice little individual punchline every now and then.
Yeah.
So.
And I really and I guess maybe why I liked it so much is, as I said, I'm a meme lord, and it kind of felt like watching a meme.
It is. It's a parody and satire of everything anime.
I love satire, so it's...
Yes. Yes. All right. So you've heard a little bit of my opinion too. I really did enjoy this. It's a very bingeable, watchable show, so I'm glad Netflix has all of it. I have to admit, after years of watching anime, some of the comedy tropes are like, oh, we're doing this joke again. I know where this goes. Okay, it's been, like that forever. But this show made it feel fresh and new, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a 4-star also.
Yeah, and there's more than one season, right?
Yeah, there's 2 whole seasons, 24 episodes each, and then there was like a episode special, which I think Netflix calls season 3. It's only like an episode or 2,
okay,
and that was a special. And then Netflix apparently, this series first started airing in 2016. Apparently, as recent as 2019, Netflix did a 6-episode special that aired just on Netflix.
Oh, okay, cool.
So there's a lot of Disastrous Life of Psyche K to watch if you like it.
Yeah, he definitely has a disastrous life.
And he tries to make it so normal, and everything is against him. Everything is against him. Let's go ahead and move into spoiler territory. So if you all are listening to this and you don't want to know every little detail about, his crazy classmates and the antics they get up to, I recommend you go watch the series now and come back later. But if you are up for some spoilers, keep listening. Miss Lauren, you mentioned possibly just going through kind of the characters and getting to know some of their quirks and oddities, because that is a lot of what the series is based on. Do you want to talk about Psyche first a little bit, since he is our main protagonist?
Yeah, I kind of related to him.
Okay, let's first start off. Psyche K is so powerful, or actually Psyche is so powerful that if he can hear everybody's thoughts, he has clairvoyance, he has teleportation,
super strength
if he chooses to. He literally wears these little weird head things that have spikes on them that literally control his psychic power so he doesn't accidentally destroy the world.
And also he's but also he was able to reformat how the world works so that's normal. People know wasn't there something he actually has pink hair?
Yeah, he actually has pink hair.
And so people the people's hair color, because that's one thing in anime you always see is these anime characters, they all have different hair colors, but it's never really acknumaged. But here they actually call it out, and
he's born with bubblegum pink hair.
Yeah, and so but because he changed humanity's genetics, and so people were growing different hair colors now.
Because he doesn't want to stand out. So he literally changes the world so he doesn't stand out.
The lengths he goes through to maintain a normal
life.
And there's nothing normal about his day-to-day life, though.
There's nothing normal about his classmates. There's nothing normal about anything. I mean, his parents are screwball weird.
With that first episode, I think they were on the brink of divorce or something.
Well, and the thing is he knows they don't mean the argument because he's telepathic, so he hears all the lovey-dovey, oh, I love you so much comments underneath, but they've been fighting for 6 months. His mom keeps changing the locks on the door, so his dad is locked out. And of course, they all know he has psychic powers, so they're like, "Oh, can you let me in the house, please?" Yeah,
and then she made him a good dinner, but he got a shoe. Didn't she make him a shoe?
She cooked him a shoe. I mean, this is all in the first episode. Now, I will say they do clear up their argument really fast in the first episode. Yeah. And from then on, they're just all lovey-dovey.
Yeah, and clueless, hopeless,
and just. Yeah.
I said, what did my notes say? For the parents, I said the parents are seemingly the children in this family unit.
Yes, they are. But I have to admit, if I had a psychic child that could lift things with his mind, I would have him rearranging all the furniture too.
I'd be really lazy.
Yeah. And I love the fact because they are pretty much the only people who truly know about Psyche's powers from the beginning. Some people figure it out as the show goes on, but I love the fact that they instantly are like, oh, you can do this for me and this for me. And I was like, and that's a prime example why Psyche wants to keep this quiet and just live a normal life.
It would be exploited big time.
Yeah. So it's kind of a fun way of showing why he keeps his powers a secret.
Yeah. So and it's just so funny because he comes off very, his stream of consciousness is he doesn't want anyone around him either. He doesn't want friends. And
it's people annoy him. They talk about he has X-ray vision. Doesn't mean he doesn't see people with their clothes on. He literally sees their muscles and bones, and he's like, so how can I think a girl is cute if all I'm seeing is a skeleton walking around?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is creepy, and
Yeah.
I'm glad they don't animate it that way.
Right. And so it's kind of like, you would think outwardly this is really amazing. He's got all these powers, but it kind of shows you it's
actually kind of miserable.
I think it's a burden.
Yeah.
There's one episode he finds that ring, and doesn't it like dampen his?
Yeah, it makes it so he can't hear telepathy, and he's so excited because he's like, I can finally go to a movie and not have it spoiled.
Except that
it
was spoiled.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I also liked about Psyche that they talked about was the fact that, he monologues in his head through this entire thing.
He never actually opens his mouth.
There's I think I caught like once or twice where he actually opens his mouth and talks, but most of the time I think he communicates. I don't know if his classmates think he's talking to them sometimes and he's just doing it telepathically, or if he is just so expressive with his like body language that they just pick up on what he's thinking, because it's like they respond to his thoughts sometimes, but he's not actually talking to them.
Yeah.
He is a very monosyllabic character in real life, and I would love to have an episode where it's just from his classmates' point of view of what he looks like.
Yeah. And it's weird because that was one thing I got, like, it doesn't ruin anything for me about the show, but like it was confusing sometimes to know when he was responding to someone or if he's just doing his internal monologue.
Yeah. I watched did you watch this in Japanese or English?
Oh, Japanese. No, I do subtitles. Yeah.
I flip-flop either way. It depends on how I feel that day and how well done the English dub is, to be honest. And I did watch one episode of this in English because I was curious. The voice actor for Psyche in the English and the Japanese voice actor, they both do a great like monologue. I am so bored and tired.
Oh,
of
cool.
Stuff you're going on with, so they both do an excellent job on it.
Yeah, I love how I sounded like a anime purist there. I was like, oh, Japanese.
I will tell you, I think that's also a generational thing.
Yeah.
Because when I started watching anime, I was watching it only in Japanese because the dubbing was so bad.
The only thing I think, the only anime I ever watched in dub was Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, and the dub on that was actually really good.
Really good.
But yeah, in general, the dubs were just so bad that nobody actually really wanted to watch them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think now the dubbing has gotten a lot better. So with my my teen anime club, I often ask them, do you want it in English or Japanese if there's a choice? And I would say about 50% of the time they choose the English.
Okay.
So it's kind of like I think English watching it dubbed is becoming a little bit more acceptable, but there's still a lot of people who prefer the original.
Yeah. And I always keep subtitles on anyway for everything I watch, so I'm just so used to reading.
I watch so much stuff that's in foreign languages. It's like, I read my movies.
Yeah. We never stop at the library.
Yeah.
We're always reading.
Yes. So that's Psyche kind of in a nutshell. He is... I
would say he's probably the most normal person on the show.
Well, Yumihara isn't that abnormal. She is the one who has a crush on Psyche in the first few episodes.
Yeah, the school trip... that was you saw a little bit, but she is the most normal because she got like teenage girl jealousy.
Yeah, she has the teenage girl angst that's normal for a lot of even American shows and stuff. She's not like a crazy off the wall like Kaido.
Do we want to start with Nando though? Because
let's start with Nando. Let's start with him.
Well, first of all, the character drawing on him makes me laugh. His butt chin is...
Okay, I've heard it described as a cleft chin, so apparently that's how in Japanese anime they illustrate a cleft chin, but it looks
thick.
It does not look nice. And he's got this weird mohawk haircut, a scar over one eye, and he's like twice as tall as everybody else.
Yeah, so like my notes, I put he's big, dumb, lovable dude.
Yes.
Who calls Psyche his best pal, buddy pal.
Buddy pal, you're my best friend. And the thing is, Psyche's like, I don't know why. I've never encouraged this. I've never asked for it. But he's just decided he's going to be Psyche's friend.
And he's really sweet, though.
He is. He wants to share things and do stuff. And he's just a really sweet guy. He is dumb as a brick.
When he was invited for Christmas, and the dad was like, he thought his dad was Santa. It's
Well, and this is an example of how his parents use Psyche, because Nendo is like, "Oh, that's right, you have reindeer. I've always wanted to see a reindeer." And Psyche's dad is like, "Well, I don't want to disappoint this kid. He thinks I'm actually Santa Claus." So he like looks aside at Psyche and goes, "Psyche, can you make some reindeer?"
Yeah. And then of course it's just a deer, but
Yeah.
he's like, "It's your reindeer." Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Nendo too, because he adds a lot of like interesting stuff for Psyche, because he is so dumb Psyche can't actually telepathically pick up on him.
Yeah.
So he's the only person that can surprise Psyche.
Yeah, like, and he sneaks up on him.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
and he's just so that's always fun, because Nendo is always like spoiling Psyche's like plans to go out and do something, because it's like he just pops out of nowhere.
And I think, he's caught Psyche doing his like abilities, I think, but
A couple times, I think, and it's just he's so dumb he just doesn't realize what happened. He is just, as I said, I really loved him, because he is a stereotype character, but he's one that you can love.
Yeah, and I think, well, and maybe because I haven't watched it a whole lot. I feel like the character that he's like designed after always seems to come off as more of the bully. And so
Yeah.
you come in thinking he's going to be like this.
He's going to be the delinquent. He's going to be the bully. He's going to be like a horrible person. And he's actually one of the nicest people.
He
in the
is.
class.
Yeah. And he kind of stumbles through. Correct me if I'm wrong too. He is older though than everyone, right? Like,
They're all in the same class.
but I feel like, didn't they say he failed or something a couple of years, or he was held back?
That could
I
be.
can't remember.
I don't remember either. I know there was a point where if he failed one more test, he was going to be held back. And so, but he passed the test.
Because of his father, who
is a ghost.
who looks just like him.
Except the scars on the other eye. And died apparently before Psyche was born.
Yeah.
So.
Or Nando, right? He died
Nendo,
before.
sorry.
Yeah.
Died before Nendo was born. Yeah, there are a lot of characters in this anime with a lot of backstory they build up over time.
I like that too, though.
Yeah.
And I like, so you've got Nando and then Kaido.
Oh, Kaido.
Who-
Okay. I love the musical riff they do with Kaido, because every time he goes into his, like, I am a shonen hero protagonist mode, they do, like, this electric guitar riff, and it's just, I'm like, that's awesome. I appreciate
What
that.
is it? The dark.
He is the Jet Black Wings is his character name.
Yes.
And he is fighting against this evil conspiracy called the Dark Reunion. And I am not 100% sure how much he actually believes the stuff that's coming out of his mouth. Because there are times where I'm like, he is completely delusional, and other times where I'm like, he knows deep down that this isn't real.
And I feel like he is, so when I was in high school, and I don't know if there are kids like this now, but he reminds me of those kids who, I love their imagination, but they believed that they were superheroes, or,
Okay, yeah.
they like Naruto was coming up, and I remember the younger kids being like, there were some kids who thought they were Naruto. And listen, no judgment. When I was in middle school, I wanted to be Sailor Moon. I used to have people call me, Serena, because that was the American name for her, so.
Usagi is her Japanese
Yeah.
name.
So listen, I am calling myself out too. But that's what Kaido kind of reminds me of.
Yeah. Well, and as I said, at times I find him highly annoying, because it's like, oh, you're doing this. But other times it's like, I'm like, I feel kind of sorry for you. Because
he is like the one that like everyone seems to pick on him a lot.
And I think that's how Psyche got involved with him, though, because there was this bully who was picking on him and stuff, and Psyche comes in and actually like pretends to give him like the magic powers that he says he has, which I'm like, yeah, but you just confirmed his delusion a lot.
But he couldn't stand seeing, him getting picked on, like the the guy was like saying the dark reunion, or really trying to exploit his fantasy, and
I think that's what bothered Psyche, is that if it had been just straight up regular bullying, it would have been fine. But it was the fact that they were using this kid's one weakness, his joy in life, that he had this against him.
Yeah.
And he just was like, no, I don't want my world to be like that. I'm going to fix this.
Yeah. He also, I like him more because he has like crushes on these girls, but he's not creepy about it.
No,
unlike
like some other characters we will run into.
Yeah.
He is definitely, because he sees himself as that shonen protagonist hero, he has to be like morally upright and all this stuff, which actually is probably not a bad thing for a teenage boy to believe in.
Well, and that was really nice because he in the school trip.
He defended Yumahara from the two boys that were hitting on her, and she didn't really want their attention.
And Psyche ended up helping him there too, where he said he punched the guy,
and he's like, "Oh, you punched me." He's like, "Wait a minute, did you touch me?" Yeah, because that's the fun thing about Kaido is he thinks he's this superhero. He's this, shonen protagonist. He's got these powers and stuff. He is the weakest person in this entire anime.
Yeah.
He is so weak. It's sad.
Yeah.
However, he is apparently, we found out during the sports thing or the school physical test, he's the most flexible person. That is because he could reach the furthest.
Yeah, he is. He's very flexible. He is, I think, it's funny because Hyro
is our sports protagonist.
What did I? Okay, so I said he was athletic, ultra driven, stupid, motivated. He trips a lot and his butt gets exposed.
Yeah, that's the running gag, is that every time he trips, for some reason, his pants come halfway down.
Yeah.
Every time. Don't know why.
Yeah.
But I love Hyro, though, because he is so gung-ho about everything. And the thing is he gets everybody else wrapped up. Like, he's not only cheering himself on, he's cheering on everybody else.
And then he pushes himself harder.
And he pushes himself even harder. Yeah. It's just, I like him because of that. He's also a really good-hearted kid.
Yeah. And that he's also someone that ends up foiling Psyche's plans to remain...
So many times.
To remain, in the background because... he pushes everyone, and then everyone starts hyping Psyche up to so then
that's like the dodgeball thing where the game where Psyche was like, okay, I want to be complete mid-level popularity, and he has little meters above little meters to show what levels of everything. He's like, okay, I don't want to be too popular, so I can't be out. You can't be last man standing, but I can't be too unpopular, so I don't want to be the first one out. And there's all this strategy, and Hyro just completely messes it
Hyro
up.
and Nendo,
and Nendo, they're both completely messing up his strategy to stay as unsportsman as possible.
Yeah, and then because he doesn't want the attention on him. So,
but I love Hyro. When they go to the festival. Who's the guy standing on the shrine cheering on everybody to carry that heavy shrine around? It's Hyro. In his samurai underwear. I don't know what to call it. Oh, loincloth. There we go. in his samurai loincloth.
Yeah.
He is just, and he gets sweaty for no reason. He gets so hyped up, he just starts sweating, and everybody in the class looks at him and goes, why are you sweating?
There were... Oh, so wait, and the really popular girl, what's her...
yes.
Teruhashi?
She is interesting because she is the most shoujo protagonist ever. She's the sweet girl. She's the perfect girl. She's the model girl. She's everything. And then we hear her thoughts through Psyche.
And she knows it.
And she knows it. And she's working it. And she is purposely planning, how can I make this the most perfect moment? How can I be the most perfect girl? And I can't quite hate her.
No.
Because she is nice to everyone. She doesn't go out of her way to put down the other girls because they're not as perfect as her, because that would ruin her image of being perfect. So I'm so she's not actually a hateful character, but it's you are now going to second guess every nice person's motives after meeting her.
But it is really funny because Psyche wants nothing to do with her.
Oh, yeah. But because of that, she wants everything to do with Psyche.
And she... when she was, it was her that saw him in the crowd, right? And he ignored her. And she just...
And she's like, how could he ignore me? I'm not ignorable. I am Teruhashi, the perfect girl. You don't ignore me.
There's all these men who are following her, and she only cares about Psyche. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But he, because he can hear her thoughts and see her organs, and internal muscles. He's not interested in people at all.
The other, so the animation cue I love for her is that she always has this golden glow around her.
Yes.
She is this perfect polished specimen of female girl, and it's just, I love that.
Yeah.
This anime does a really good job just with their like their visual cues on the characters of people too.
Yeah.
Because like Hyrule always has that like athletic nose strip above his nose.
Yeah. Kaido
has the wrappings around his arm, so he looks like a shonen hero.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I love the way they do that.
Yeah. And with Terahashi, she is nice but it's almost like she's nice, but it's because no one else really, like no other girl really matters to her either.
Yeah, it's like she knows her pecking order and that she's on top, and she doesn't have to worry about anybody.
Yeah,
because she is perfect.
Like that when they go to the beach on their school trip, like it doesn't even faze her about thinking like, you know, her friend.
There might be another girl who's prettier than me. Or
no,
their swimsuits, you know, better looking than mine, or stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just like she's the perfect girl. And
yeah,
so nobody else can take her place. Ever.
Yeah, except then she got a little creepy with stalking Psyche and
well,
watching him sleep.
yeah. That, but that caused its own wonderful issues because she removed his control thing and they wake up and where's the hotel?
Yeah. She also has the concerning brother.
Yeah. Okay, I will say he was, in my opinion, the worst character in this anime because his trope is the one I hate the most. He did not bother me as much in this anime because they call him out on it. Yeah,
it's this is like where it's heavily satirical, and I could tell because I'm not familiar with this being a common occurrence in anime.
It's not necessarily always common. I somehow seem to stumble on every anime that has it, which drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But he has what is nicely called a sister complex, to the point where no other boy is allowed to date his sister, marry his sister, or do anything else because he is so in love with his sister that he actually, I think in the anime, calls it out that he wants to marry her.
Yeah.
Which is kind of creepy. Really creepy. And I appreciate the fact that Psyche just looks at him and goes, "You are creepy."
Yeah. Yeah. and he's supposed to be
him creepy.
And he's supposed to be like a popular actor too.
Yeah, he's like a popular teen actor and everything.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that, but like I was like, oh, he's creepy, and like I was like, oh, they're going there with this. Oh,
yeah.
But it's satire. Okay.
It is a satire, and I'm glad because I have watched some anime where it wasn't a satire and I went nope and turned it off because I'm like, that's a step too far. I'm sorry. I know there are cultural differences between Japan and America, but that's like bad in Japan too.
Yeah, well, you know but that's interesting because I've noticed there's a couple of touchy subjects, like especially the womanizing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is he womanizing? Is, I don't know if it's the right word. Yeah, it is. What is it?
Yeah.
Torisuka?
The
other
boy.
medium. Yeah,
the spirit medium.
Yeah,
he's
a perv.
He is. He's straight up pervy. His main goal in life is to find out the color of a girl's underpants, and he's trying to use ghosts to do it, and the ghosts are telling him you're too pervy. And stuff. I do appreciate, and pervy characters show up a lot in anime, and some of them I find incredibly creepy. Some of them, they do it in such a way I kind of find it endearing, which is weird, but it's how you play it.
Yeah.
And he is borderline creepy, but because all of his plans get foiled by Psyche, I like the fact that the anime is calling out, this is not good behavior.
It's not good
and
behavior.
We're going to keep foiling it for you.
And they foil it again on the school trip when the three boys are trying to see the girl's bath.
Yes, and Psyche keeps turning the thing so they only see Nendo. And it's like, yeah, no.
But there was a funny moment with that too.
That's the other thing I love with this anime, though. I don't know. This is an older trope, so maybe you've run into it a lot, but it used to be that every single anime, when you hit like the midpoint, there was the beach scene / hot springs episode, where you could be watching the most serious anime on Earth, and then all of a sudden they're all in swimsuits and the boys are all trying to peep on the girls. It turns into like a complete comedy, different anime that you're watching. And it used to be in every single anime series I would watch, they would have that one episode.
Yeah.
And I love the way that Psyche plays on the hot springs episode by having these boys trying to peep on the girls in the hot springs, and Psyche just keeps turning their little periscopes around so they only see Nendo. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm glad they made a parody even of that trope. Yeah. It's like everything is parodied in here.
And then, Nendo, who gets, people are like they're mean to him. He's so dumb he doesn't realize it. But
yeah, he thinks everybody's his friend, and everybody is like, "You are a stupid person."
But he's lovable.
Except for Hyro. Hyro likes him because Hyro now sees him as his because Hyro wanted a sports adversary that was physically better than him, and Nendo is.
Yeah.
So it's like Hyro's like, oh my gosh, I have my adversary.
Yeah.
And it's a friendly adversary though. So it's not like Hyro's being mean to him or anything, but it's like, so there's like now that weird like relationship.
He always seems
Hyro and Nendo.
He always seems to persevere. And so when Psyche kept putting the microscope or whatever, the telescopes.
Periscope.
Periscope.
Or
it kept flashing it on him, and then Nendo's standing like naked behind them. They wanted to like pick on him, but he shamed them really, and they were a little embarrassed.
They're like, oh, we're peeping toms. We're gonna walk away now.
Yeah. So it was really funny. I like
I
that.
will say this is definitely rated TV 14 for some off-color humor.
Yeah, there is.
Put it that way.
There is a little bit, is there swearing in it?
Not really.
Okay,
I think it's more. I thought it said language at one point on Netflix, but I was like, I don't know what language. It said nudity, which I'm gonna guess is some of the like Hyro losing his pants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's more like there's just a little bit of raunchy off-color humor.
But you know what? They're trying to, I think, break this like stereotype of like, because there's the girl who's eating a lot. And,
yes, Mara. I love Mara.
And
she's her part-time jobs.
Yeah.
I love the one where they flash to her part-time job and she's operating a jackhammer. I'm like, what high school girl got a job operating a jackhammer, fishing for tuna, and all that stuff? Yeah, I love Mara.
She comes, and so she's like a thicker Japanese girl, but like
she's not fat though.
No, she's not. No, but that's what they're trying to like break these stereotypes about like people's bodies and
Well, the thing is, she comes out in the swimsuit and all the boys are like, "Oh my gosh, she has a figure. It's amazing."
Yeah,
because she's been doing all this work.
Yeah,
she's actually got a really nice body.
Yeah, and it's
but she's poor, so she eats every bit of food she can find.
She was packing it away.
Going through college. Trust me, there's a free meal on offer. You will find it.
You will find it, yes. Or in college, on your birthday, you go around to all the places that offer free stuff.
Yes. I had a friend in college, and he told me once that between all the student groups with their events and everything, you could usually find one free meal every day.
Yeah.
I was like, you have made this into a science.
I like that there's like, they're trying to break these negative stereotypes of like misogyny and people's body. Like, it seems to be, it's
a comedy that doesn't rely on crass humor.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Some of it's in there, but it doesn't rely on that, and it takes it and it twists it.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. It's a very intelligent comedy.
You and I both had a really favorite moment because Psyche does have a weakness.
Oh, he's got a major weakness, and it was awesome. And I cracked up laughing.
And we related
so
to it.
Hard.
We related to it a lot.
I relate so much. If I could do that. So what?
He encounters a cockroach.
A cockroach. And Psyche, the most powerful being on the planet, is scared to death of cockroaches. Other bugs too, he admits. The reason why? They can sneak up on him because he can't read insects' minds.
And so he immediately teleported to El Paso, Texas.
Which I love this anime's view of El Paso, Texas. I swear it's got a dirt road. It's got a wood building that says restaurant on it, and that's it.
It's like El Paso is actually a huge city.
It feels like he like teleported into this small little nowhere town, and who knows?
Yeah, and so he we relate to that because we both have moments of sometimes buggies find their way on our desks.
Well, and also I still remember the moment at 2 a.m. in the morning when I was living in Tallahassee when I found out that cockroaches can fly.
Oh, no.
Certain ones can fly. I think it was a palmetto bug, technically.
Yeah.
And I'm still amazed the neighbors didn't wind up calling the police because I ran in circles screaming.
Yeah.
In that house.
Yeah. I my problem with cockroaches is they never make their appearance in daylight. It's usually at 3 a.m.
or really early in the morning when you've just gotten up.
Yeah, and I'm going to use, the facilities, and in my shower or on my sink, there you are. You evil little bug.
I had a little infestation a few years ago.
Ugh.
And I'm watching TV and 2 cockroaches just run across my floor. And I'm like, where did you come from? And I'm moving home now. I'm moving back. I called my parents.
This is your house now.
Yep, I called my parents and I was like, I'm moving back home.
Especially when they disappear and you can't find them. I'm like, how am I supposed to go back to sleep now?
Yeah. No. I have nightmares.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we are completely on board with Psyche on this one.
Yeah.
You see a cockroach, you teleport halfway across the world.
And it was when he did that, I was like, oh my God, that's so funny.
And I love the fact that he then spent his parents were gone for a weekend or something. He was expecting to have like this quiet weekend, undisturbed, just read his book and watch TV and be done with. And he apparently spends the entire weekend cleaning the house because of this cockroach. And his parents come back and everything's sparkling and he's exhausted.
Yeah, and he didn't have a relaxing weekend. So
no.
It's funny. All of these people who, again, he doesn't want friends because I think he just wants to exist because he's so desperate to keep his...
I sometimes partially wonder if he also doesn't want friends because he's afraid of what will happen if he becomes friends with people to a certain extent because he is so powerful.
Right.
Remember that one time he lost his control device and they had this thing where it's like the scientist sees his graph and it's like going down. He's like, it's the end of the world. Quick, call the president. And then you see, I guess, like some...
They go to the
barbarian tribe or something somewhere, and their shaman is crying because it's the end of the world. And then he puts his little control device back in, and you see this. Oh, everything's fine again.
Yeah. They go. They actually go like to the International Space Station,
and it's like it's the end of the world.
Oh no!
I'm just like, how scary is that though? That you are aware as a teenager you could end the world if you're not careful.
So that's I will keep watching it because I'm interested to see if he ever finds someone like him or with that kind of those kind of.
He is fascinated by
Torisuka
with his ability to see spirits because that is an aspect of psychicness he doesn't have.
Right.
So that's kind of like, oh, cool. There's somebody who can do something different.
Oh, his love for coffee jelly.
I don't know what a coffee jelly is. It looks kind of like a pudding type thing.
You do get to see him finally get to enjoy.
Oh yeah.
Because all he wanted in the 13th episode was he wanted that coffee.
That special coffee dessert thing, and this one restaurant only serves 5 of them. He finally gets to the restaurant, and of course the 5 kids
that he ditched
to find this are all sitting there, and they've ordered the only 5.
But it was such a sweet moment.
Oh, it was such a great moment. I'm glad this was the last moment we ended it on because they all took a portion of theirs to put into a bowl for him, and he winds up with one that's twice the size of everybody's.
And I thought it was a really good... all the work he does for them, like it was a sweet moment of like this is what we did for him. Like it wasn't, and they don't even know what they did for him.
They don't know what he does,
and so it was a really sweet moment of like they care.
Well, and didn't Nendo start the scooping process?
Yeah, I think he was like, we'll get another bowl
and get another bowl and share with you. And I'm like, that's so Nendo.
And then he had the biggest portion, and it was so I thought that was nice because there is times where you're like, dang, like no one does anything for him. Like he's, it's like even his parents are like always asking him for stuff and so on. So that was it was heartwarming, and I was like, this was a good episode to end on, and
to finish up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
4 actually.
4 actually. Okay, sorry.
And then as we talked about off air, I had to stop myself because I was going to watch the next episode.
I have to admit, I did watch the first 5 minutes of the next episode because I didn't realize, because it's Netflix, it just forwards things on. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is episode 14. I better not watch that because I don't. Apparently, they get a new student.
That's I only saw the very beginning where there's a transfer student.
He looks like he's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So Psyche is so dedicated to staying. I just thought about this. He's so dedicated to staying under the radar and normal that he like purposely doesn't, like he just stays middle of the pack on tests. Yeah. And it kind of backfired though, because didn't he end up getting like a point below oh my God.
Nendo?
No, Kaido. Didn't Kaido score, or no, did Nendo score 1 point above him?
Yeah, I think at one point Nendo scored abnormally high because he was having help from his ghostly father who apparently doesn't remember anything about his past life. So he's like, I don't know why I keep helping this kid.
Yeah,
I love that little drop line. It's like, I don't know why I keep helping this kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, he uses his telepathy to pick out wrong answers. And I'm just like, that's okay.
So he doesn't. It's his dedication to being under the radar is
it's
unmatched.
Unmatched. Yeah, I was gonna say admirable because I don't know anybody who does that much work to be normal.
Yeah, and so I think it's really funny that he is essentially the most normal person on this show.
Yeah, well, the most sane. Let's go with that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we have the illusionist, which we're not even going to get into. We have.
Oh my gosh, that character.
Yeah, we're not going there. That's a whole nother storyline we do not need to bring up about Nendo's possible former stepdad.
Wait, and Nendo's mother looks just like
Nendo, and I think has the same voice actor. So let's be all disturbed.
I forgot about that moment. Yeah. And Psyche still ends up helping him.
Yes. Well, mostly because he doesn't want some poor guy to accidentally get killed.
I know. Yeah.
Because Psyche actually cares about people living their normal lives and not dying.
Someone with his power,
it's probably a good thing.
He could not care.
Anyway, we have run a little bit long, like very long, but we'll probably cut out some of the meandering about Psyche.
And maybe about Sailor Moon. I didn't need to go on tangents about that.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this and I've done some severe editing on this episode, we had a whole long tangent on Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, and we will probably have to do an episode on Sailor Moon at some point.
Oh, I would love that.
You would? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we will plan on an episode on Sailor Moon. Anyway, thank you so much, Lauren, for joining me. And
thank you for having me. This was fun. I was nervous at first, but...
Yeah, no, it's everybody's nervous.
I know.
I was nervous at first. I mean, you should hear some of my early episodes.
Yeah,
bad.
I don't know if I'll listen to this episode. I don't know.
I will tell you, I only know of one person who has actually listened to their own episode that they've been on. Everybody else is like, no, I'm not listening. I can't.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
At this point, with all the editing I've done, I'm almost immune to hearing my own voice.
Yeah,
I still cringe occasionally.
My mom might listen to this.
Oh dear.
she can tell me how I sounded. But anyway, thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much. And I'm really excited about maybe doing a Sailor Moon episode with you because I think that would be a lot of fun.
That'll be a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to decide if it's going to be original Sailor Moon, new Sailor Moon, what part of it we're going to look at.
And this episode's airing on my birthday, isn't it?
Second week of November?
Yeah. Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
There's November 9th.
Awesome. Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
So, anyway, bye.
Bye.
Thank you once again for joining Miss Lauren and I today as we talked about the disastrous life of Psyche K. And another thanks to Zoe for recommending this show. It was a spectacular recommend. Miss Lauren and I both greatly enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts or opinions about the show we just discussed, you can email me at the email address in the show notes below, or if you even have another series to recommend. Sometimes it can take a bit to get to your recommendations because I only produce this show once a month, and I also try to pick shows that I think that my guests would enjoy. And I have to try and put the right show with the right person. But that doesn't mean I don't have them written down in my little notebook, and it's quite a few of them I actually look forward to doing at some point. And with the coming holiday season, I hope you have a lot of time to watch a ton of anime. Goodbye!